It's another Victory Monday stream here on Chicago Bears Now. I'm really getting, I'm getting used to these. These are very, very fun. Welcome in. My name is Harrison Graham. Got a lot to get into. Short week for the Bears. They play on Black Friday against the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll look ahead to that game a little bit as well. Lots to discuss. Let us know where you guys are tuning in from here on this Victory Monday. 8 out of 9 games Cullen the Bears have won. I was thinking about this earlier. Ben Johnson has 2 4-game winning streaks this season. That never happened once under Matt Eberflus. Just remarkable. 0-2, 4 straight wins, then a loss to the Ravens, now 4 more wins in a row. Pretty crazy when you think about it in those terms, but Bears are feeling good about themselves, man. We'll see if they can get some key players back before they travel up to Philadelphia this week.
Not to mention that in this one season alone, which, again, is not finished at this current moment, Ben Johnson has more wins in this season than any season under Matt Eberflus for the Chicago Bears.
Yep. He's a little bit better than Matt Eberflus, just a little.
Just a little bit.
Just a little.
Just a little bit. I'll give some shout-outs here. We got Corey in Las Vegas. We got West Chicago. Yeah. We got Scott, Colorado. We got Jay from Atlanta. We got NN from Ann Arbor. Don from Flagstaff. Aaron from San Diego. Tom says the moon. Shout out to you. Didn't know we got viewers on
Nice.
There. Love that.
What do we got, Starlink up there?
And then Construction says, Cullen, I'm here from Illinois.
Let's go.
Let's
got
go.
Tom in Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Indiana,
Illinois.
from James Kenosha, Wisconsin, from another James. Madison from Robert. Southside Chicago from Brandon. We got JR, Webster, and Peoria. Central Utah is where Jay is watching. Royce in Sunnyside, Washington. We got Elmhurst, Illinois from Tim. Appreciate everybody tuning in here on a Victory Monday. Got a couple super chats rolling in as well. We appreciate it. Depressed Bears fan, still rolling with that name. Still depressed at 8-3. What would be better for the Bears, the Packers losing or the Lions losing? I think it's a good question. For the division, I think it's better if the Packers lose. Because if they lose, and then if you just split with Green Bay, you're in a pretty good position. They would be 7-4-1 if they lose. The Lions would be 8-4. I think for, the wild card, it's probably better if Detroit loses, right? Because that would be their 5th loss. You'd have some buffer room there. You only play them one more time, so it's not like they could double dip you down the stretch, whereas Green Bay can. So, it's kind of a double-edged sword. I don't know if there's like a more ideal scenario than the other. I think if you're trying to win the division, it's probably better if Detroit wins, but, I don't know if it matters that much. You still play Green Bay twice. You still have Detroit. Those games are going to carry a lot of weight. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. Thanksgiving, that's a big game on Thanksgiving. Big, big game.
Just, and you don't have to send another super chat to Press Bears fan. What will it take for you to change your name? Honest question.
Super Bowl? Maybe he's superstitious. Maybe he's like, if I change it, they'll go on a losing streak.
Yeah.
So,
just a thought, just a question.
Certainly understand that. Isaac, with players coming back, I see a 17-16 win for the Bears. Reminds me of the old Bears-Rams game back in 2018. 2 high-powered teams battling. Should be cold. Yeah, let's go ahead and look at the old weather report, shall we? Pull up the old app here. Philadelphia on Friday. High of 54, so they play at 2 o'clock Central, so that'll probably be the peak of the day. So low 50s during that game. Not unreasonable weather. Yeah, it'll be chilly. It's going to be interesting. I could see it being kind of a slugfest, lower scoring game. That would not shock me. What's the over-under? 44.5? So, yeah, I mean, Philly's 6.5-point favorite right now, which is a lot of points for a team that doesn't score a ton. So, I wouldn't mind a little Bears cover action for you, you sports gamblers out there.
I'll say this: this game to me, and again, the Eagles opened up as 7-point favorites. It's now down to 6.5. I am very curious to see because the Bears' defense, again, has been very feast or famine. I think we could all agree.
Mm-hmm.
Can they force Jalen Hurts into some turnovers, potentially plural, or at least one?
It's only thrown one pick all year. They are very conservative offensively.
Yes.
Like they want to play ball control, field position. They do not want to put the ball in harm's way. Yesterday they got up 21-0, Colin, and they kind of just went in the tank. They were kind of just like, let's just try and carry this lead to a victory, and it did not work.
No.
It did not work. Dallas stormed back, so it'll be interesting to see if they change their approach at all and try to get a little bit more aggressive. But they got issues offensively. Their offensive line hasn't been playing great. They can't run the ball that effectively right now with Saquon, so I don't view this, even with the Bears' injuries, I'd be shocked if Philly just went up and down the field. Like I don't think I just don't think they're playing like that right now. Short week too. Like I don't know. I don't think they're in a great spot currently. So I definitely think the Bears could win this game if they take care of the ball offensively and hit a few explosive plays, which we know they're capable of. We got Michael with the 5. Appreciate it. That clip of the O-line pushing the path clear from an unguided touchdown was great. Rochard deserves a lot of credit for this turnaround. Yeah, I mean, look, I think, listen, we got to give Ryan Poles a lot of credit for the interior rebuild. And I'm sure Ben Johnson had influence there, but you go get Joe Thuney for a 4th-round pick. I mean, that is a fantastic value trade. You get Jonah Jackson, a guy who Ben's familiar with, for a 6th. He's been great. And Drew Dahlman, listen, he's not a perfect player, but he's been pretty damn good this year. Like that interior, that's got to be one of the best interior offensive lines in the NFL. And then you have Darnell Wright, who early on got beat a couple times by TJ Watt, Cullen, but I felt like after that strip sack, we didn't really say his name much yesterday. Ozzy played good. So, yeah, I mean, the additions, Rochar, this offensive line is one of the better ones in the NFL currently. It's for sure top 10. You could argue top 5. It's played really well.
It's really well. By the way, someone says check your messages. I'm assuming on Twitter. No, listen, this offensive line was a big focus for the Chicago Bears in terms of improving it. Obviously, in years past, Coleman, or at least the year prior, Coleman Shelton, Nate Davis, like Ryan Bates, the offensive line was not getting it done. And so, to your point, Harry, I mean, the investments that were made by Ryan Poles and this staff and Rochar as well, coaching the boys up, it's just night and day compared to what it was last season. And look, it's a big reason that, if you're able to control the line of scrimmage, this isn't news to anybody, you're going to have a lot of success in the offensive side of the ball. And, Ben Johnson obviously valued that from what he had in Detroit. He wanted to obviously establish some culture here in Chicago in terms of, being a physical team. And listen, I think, Joe Thuney, that trade, one of the best moves made this past offseason by any team. And you mentioned it, Jonah Jackson, Drew Dahlman also playing well. And if Ozzy Trapilo, the real key here, because, we'll talk about it a little bit more later in the show, if he can kind of sit there and settle in as your starting left tackle and, show some signs of, future development, that really makes things for the Bears this offseason a lot more clearer in terms of the directions they need to go in terms of improving this team.
My guy Gary Ross saying, I guess I was wrong about this. I thought the Bears and the Eagles would have to put out an estimated injury report today because usually the first one of the week is Wednesday and they play on Sunday. So I figured, okay, game on Friday. That means 2 days earlier, Monday. But Gary's saying they don't have to till tomorrow. So I guess we will not get a new injury update. But obviously, Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon appeared to be close to playing this past week. So we'll see if they are able to go. I don't think we need to adjust anything. Those script stuff are good there. Caden, would you rather extend Nashawn Wright or Tyreek Stevenson? Well, Stevenson's under contract another year, so you don't have to make a decision there. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Like, does Nashawn Wright test free agency? If you're the Bears, are you proactive? Can you get him on a team-friendly deal to keep him around for next year? I mean, this is an out there thought, and I'm not really suggesting they should do this because I've been a big pro Tyreek guy. I mean, is there a world where you would extend Nashawn Wright on a team-friendly deal and shop Stevenson this offseason? I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what they do there because Nashawn Wright, Cullen, he's earned a starting job somewhere in this league. I don't know if it's for the Bears, but he's played his ass off this year. It's been one of the better, kind of probably one of the more under-talked about stories in the NFL is his emergence in 2025.
Yeah, I saw Jordan Schultz tweet about it earlier. I mean, Nahshon Wright's been a revelation, and, obviously we talk about leading the league or tied for the league in interceptions along with his teammate Kevin Byard. Is he a little bit of, can get a little grabby, give up some of the big plays? Absolutely. But in terms of, what the Bears have been needing due to all their injuries in the secondary, he's played more than admirably. And I think, if you're Tyreek Stevenson, you've had moments this year. He's also kind of been inconsistent up and down. The only thing that would make me hesitant about potentially not wanting to extend Stevenson is the investment of the draft capital in there. And I really want to see what both these guys look like whenever the secondary is at full strength. Because, again, it's, different in terms of, the expectations and whatnot. But, yeah, no, I think both guys have you could make arguments for in terms of levels of extensions. But Nahshon Wright right now, I think, in my opinion, has been playing better ball than Tyreek Stevenson up to this point.
Yeah, and I mean, I think, from a snap-to-snap standpoint, they're probably pretty similar, but Nahshon Wright's giving you more ball production. Right. So, that's kind of a tiebreaker for me. If you're taking the football away, that's huge, as the Bears, their turnover margin this year has been a big reason for their success. Dennis says, this offseason, if Poles makes a blockbuster trade, who would you rather have? And would the cost be the same between Garrett and Crosby? I think Garrett would cost more. I mean, what he's doing this year, Cullen,
it's remarkable.
I mean, he might break the sacks record. I mean, he might go for 25 sacks. It's crazy. I think this year he's the best player in the league, just overall player in the NFL. I think that would cost 3 ones. I really do. I think max, is it 2 ones? Is it a 1 and multiple day 2 picks? Is it a 1, a player, and a day 2 pick? Like, if I had to predict, I think he's more attainable this offseason than Myles Garrett.
I would agree.
Especially if Shedeur shows some life down the stretch. That's something to believe in, not only for the team, but for Myles Garrett. And the Browns have multiple first-round picks next year, including the Jags. So, if they add a couple of key players, they could be somewhat relevant pretty quickly. I think the Raiders are so far away. At some point, does Max Crosby just break mentally and he's just like, I'm out. Like, just ship me out of here. I think that's, especially if Ozzy Trapilo starts the rest of the year at left tackle and at least shows positive signs we're heading into next year, it's his job to lose, then edge really becomes that kind of narrow focus of like, okay, do we take a swing at a big-time pass rusher? Obviously, if you're going to bring in someone like this, the financials play a role. You'd have to move some money around, all that stuff. You'd have to figure that out. But, I think edge becomes your clear top need this offseason if Ozzy can at least somewhat lock down that left tackle position. Montez Sweat's been coming on. That's good, but we have no idea what Dayo Adengbo's recovery situation is going to be. Austin Booker's a nice rotation player. I don't view him as like a surefire starter at this point heading into next year. If he's like your third edge, I like that a lot more. NASCAR package pass rusher. We'll keep an eye on that for sure. I think Max Crosby. You can bookmark this, jot this down, whatever phrase you want to use. I think he's a player to watch this offseason. Not even just for the Bears, just in the NFL. I think if I had to predict right now what star player gets moved this offseason, I think Max Crosby is a guy that very well could get moved. They might reset their coaching staff again. If they do that, he might just be like, am I really going to blindly believe in a new regime again? I think there's a world where he and the Raiders kind of mutually agree to trade him. I think that could happen. So
it could potentially. Not a lot of good things, or not a lot of positive things happening in Las Vegas right now, as you kind of pointed out. And the only thing that I could maybe argue on the side of Crosby, because I do agree with a lot of what you said, is the fact that to the point of like, okay, Myles Garrett probably won't be available this offseason. If, Crosby is, let's say the Raiders come out and say, hey, Crosby's open for sale, send us your best offer. Could a bidding war situation bid to where, Crosby's at the level of Garrett or what Garrett's perceived value would be. But I think if both players were available on the open market, just, similar stances by each franchise, Garrett would 100% fetch more, just not only because of the season he's having, but I just think in general he's a better player than Max Crosby, which, again, Max Crosby is a top 5 edge rusher in the NFL. We're just talking about Myles Garrett here. So
the difference between the two is Garrett might be the best player in the league.
Might be.
Max Crosby is top 5 at his position. Garrett might be best in the league and is for sure a top 5 player in the league. So, Max Crosby's probably a top 20 player in the NFL, top 25. Garrett's a top 5 player in the league, best at his position. So there is a bit of a gap there. Now, I think he's also a year or two older, so, all these things play a part. But both guys would fetch quite a bit, I would think. Marcus with the 5. How do you think Philly will play Friday, considering how they lost yesterday? Yeah, them losing yesterday is kind of a double-edged sword for me because – if they end up winning, do you maybe catch them sleeping a little bit? You would think Philadelphia is going to be pretty focused and motivated for this game because now, if the Bears win, not only do they have the head-to-head, but they're a full game ahead of Philadelphia. And if you're the Eagles, if you lose this week and the Cowboys beat the Chiefs on Thanksgiving, all of a sudden, you're only a game and a half up in the division. Like, that thing out of nowhere kind of tightens up. So I would think, Cullen, we're going to get a pretty strong effort from the Eagles on Friday. I mean, coming off that type of loss.
I would agree. And again, every game down the stretch matters for both these teams, not just the Chicago Bears, but also Philadelphia Eagles. I just also wonder, is this the beginning of Philadelphia's, again, conservative offense? We know all about the divisiveness in the locker room between A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts, the whole kind of 9 yards. I remember, obviously not last season, but the season before, where around this time it felt like the Eagles, they were, leading the NFC. They were kind of riding high. Things started to come out, and then all of a sudden towards the last however many games that season back in 2023, they really fell apart, and they ended up getting eliminated in that first wildcard game, I believe, against Tampa. Could yesterday's loss against the Dallas Cowboys be similar for this Philadelphia Eagles team, 2023 season? We'll ultimately wait and see. I do think that Philly, especially to start the game, is going to come out with their heads on fire, so to speak. But, if you're the Chicago Bears, if you can kind of weather the storm a little bit and you get, further deeper in that game and you're still within a score, or maybe you're even leading late in the game, it really plays to your advantage, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the first quarter and a half in this game is pretty critical. If you can just kind of stick around early in this game, if you're the Bears, I think Ben and Dennis have proven that they're pretty good at adjusting on the fly. The Eagles are kind of just, especially offensively, Fangio's good at adjust. They're pretty vanilla offensively. They kind of just run their stuff. If you stick around in that game, I think you got to, and we've seen with this team, if it's close in the fourth, you feel good about their chances. What you can't afford to do is, if you get down like Dallas did yesterday, but in Philadelphia, that's a tougher task. If you get down a couple of scores, a quarter and a half in, that's a big uphill battle on the road in that type of environment. So I'm kind of with you. You got to weather the early storm and just kind of get your teeth into that game, get to halftime at a reasonable score, and then let it rip in the second half. Depressed Bears fan, I'll change it if they win a playoff game. All right. I think that's reasonable. If they win a playoff game, you'll change it. All right. Mark this down, Bears fans. This is it's a big moment here on Bears Now. Depressed Bears fans been watching for a while here, so we'll be monitoring that situation. Mason with the 5. I've been a fan forever. I love this team more than I've ever loved one. An Eagles win makes us contenders. Love watching you, Harrison. Yeah, I think a win over the Eagles makes this team a real contender. Would I still say Super Bowl contender? Maybe not, but at that point, if they win Friday, Colin, they're as close to a lock at being a playoff team at that point. Then it's about, okay, could this team win a couple of playoff games? Could they make noise in the postseason? We did a video last week, Are the Bears for Real? There are ingredients on this team that should translate into the playoffs. So, as these tests get tougher, if you win enough of them, at some point it's well, they just kind of win games, right? The Eagles have been criticized for years with how they win and stuff. It's well, they've gone to 2 of the last 3 Super Bowls. it's kind of working.
Yeah.
So,
This
you know,
would be by far the biggest win for the Chicago Bears this season, without a doubt.
on the road, short week, defending Super Bowl champs against a team that is going to be pissed off after the way they lost yesterday. I mean, if you go into Philadelphia and win this game, I mean, it's the biggest win, I would say, since probably when they beat the Rams in 2018, when they picked off Jared Goff 4 times. And that Rams team went to the Super Bowl. I would say this is the biggest win since then, if they can beat the Eagles on
If
Friday.
they can beat it for sure. And, you know, we mentioned it earlier, that the over and a half, at least where it stands right now, it's 44.5. This could be a classic, you know, rock fight game to where Caleb Williams, we've talked about it kind of all season. He's not been, in terms of, you know, play-to-play, been the most accurate quarterback out there, but he does deliver the big explosives, which kind of counteracts, you know, not being the most accurate. I think in a game, you know, again, we'll see what the weather report looks like for Friday. I think Caleb, if he, you know, has the opportunity, because again, some Eagles injury-related news, Andrew Makuba is not going to be playing this Friday with an ankle injury. I think if Caleb, you know, has some one-on-one shots, some, you know, plays that can really break the game open in terms of attacking Philadelphia's secondary, that's going to be really crucial. You know, his deep accuracy, either hitting, you know, Roma Dunze, DJ Moore, Luther Burden, whatever the case may be, that could be the difference in between the, you know, Chicago Bears, you know, getting in a roll and getting into a rhythm on offense versus having to try to nickel and dime your way down the field against an Eagles front that is one of the best in the league.
Yeah, you know, it's going to be hard to have those long, drawn-out drives in this one. You know, those 12, 15-play drives, just because you give Fangio enough cracks at, like, making a play on you, they're probably going to make one eventually. So, yeah, you're going to have to hit some explosives in this game. Alex, still can't believe we're 8-3. It's pretty awesome, isn't it? Pretty freaking awesome. So, yeah, one game at a time. Let's keep it rolling. Cornelius, both of Sweat's sacks were on the tight end. Number one rule in D-line room is to not let a tight end block you one-on-one. Sweat took advantage. Yeah, I mean, look, if you're a defensive end and you get a one-on-one look with the tight end, especially a $25 million pass rusher, you got to win that matchup.
100%.
Period, point blank, end of story. And I think Montez Sweat this weekend, Colin, No Lane Johnson going up against a swing tackle and Fred Johnson, you got to win some one-on-ones there. Like, you gotta take advantage of that. And, you know, Sweat's been picking it up the last month and a half or so. He's up to 7.5 sacks on the year. You need him to be a force in this game, I think. He's got to make a few splash plays. So, yeah, that's he was able to take advantage of that.
Little, you know, teaser in terms of potentially a, you know, video that we do later in the week. Montez Sweat since the bye week. I'd be really curious to know his numbers obviously it wasn't, you know, a large amount of time, you know, pre-bye week versus post-bye week, but he's been playing more like, to your point, the $25 million per year player. And, you know, if the Bears are going to have success at any level for the rest of the season, you know, knock on wood, if they do make the postseason, Sweat's going to have to play at that level.
He's got to be a factor, no question. Jay, do you believe that the Bears could be one of those teams that comes out of nowhere and dominate the playoffs? I know I'm thinking ahead. I mean, dominate, like, you know, you're winning big in the playoffs. I don't know about that, but, like, they get the right matchups, they could win a game or two. I think that's absolutely on the table. You know, you think about the NFC right now, like, look, if they play the Rams, that's going to be a tough one. I don't see any weaknesses on that Rams team. If Matt Stafford is playing like he is now, where he's just blacking out every week, basically, good luck. But, you know, Eagles this weekend, they've got some flaws. Tampa's in shambles right now. Baker's got a bum left shoulder. You know, Seattle would probably be a tough matchup. But, you know, if you rattle Sam Darnold a little bit, and we know the Bears can take the football away, and he gives you chances, I mean, that's not some impossible order there. I think the Bears are right there with the Packers. I mean, if they don't at least split with Green Bay, I think that would be disappointing. The 49ers, I don't view as a major threat. That'll be a tough game on the road. But, you know, Detroit historically have not matched up well, but getting them at home, they have been in kind of a funk recently. So, yeah, other than the Rams, I don't view any of these other teams as like some impossible opponent. Now, would they be – I mean, they're 6.5-point dogs against Philadelphia. So, clearly, like, you know, nationally, Vegas, all that stuff aren't believers yet. But I watch these teams, and I'm like, okay, there's some flaws there. The Rams are the one team where I'm just like – there's no world I would pick the Bears to beat the Rams in a playoff game. Doesn't mean it couldn't happen, but I would not pick that. These other teams, maybe.
Yeah, I think the Rams, and again, don't have no pleasure in saying this whatsoever. I think the Rams are in a class of their own when it comes to the NFC. Outside of that, look, every team has their kind of, strengths and weaknesses, and ultimately, I think the Bears are kind of looked at as, where do they rank in terms of, listen, they're winning games, it's important, they're clearly showing that they're going to be a factor down the stretch. The question is how much of a factor? If you can get this win against the Philadelphia Eagles, I think some conversations are going to be had in terms of not only, playoff expectations, but how far in the playoffs could the Bears potentially get. So, huge game, obviously. It's a 6.5-point spread at the time of filming this. Bears, listen, it's an opportunity, right? It's an opportunity to showcase what you can do, and, we'll be live covering it. So
I'm not giving my official score prediction today. I do want to see some of these injuries play out and whatnot. I'll say this, though. I would pick the Bears to cover sitting here today on Monday. I think that's a large number against an Eagles offense that is inconsistent right now. Connor, not sure if you've planned this as a segment, but have you considered looking back at your preseason expectations? Bears are ahead of schedule. Yeah, I had them at 10-7, so if they go 2-4 or better, then they match/do better than what I had. So, I think what I'm going to do is coming out of this Eagles game, I think I'm going to do a segment. Okay, let's predict the final 5 weeks. What happens over the final 5 weeks of the season? I've definitely, that's been on my radar, Connor. JD, let's say Ozzy is our left tackle and looks solid the rest of the way. Please list orders of things we do with draft picks, edge, safety, etc. Look, you never want to pigeonhole yourself into just need, but I think edge becomes your clear top need. I think safety is probably next, depending on what you do with your current guys. They're all free agents. Kevin Byard, if you can get him back on a 1-year deal, I'd like to lock that in. I think he's playing well enough. I'd be comfortable bringing him back even at his age. And then what do you do with Brisker and C.J. Gardner-Johnson? Do you pick one of those, let the other guy walk? So that's all going to be very interesting. But, where does running back factor in here? I think Swift and Monangai have been a nice duo, but big picture, I don't know if Swift is a guy. He's got one more year on his deal. Is he a guy that you give another contract to? See how he plays down the stretch, but that's still a position you could add at as well. So, it's going to be very, very interesting. You could add another defensive tackle still, certainly. Grady, Jarrett getting older. Dexter entering a contract here. Do you extend him? Do you play next year out? So, a lot of things to figure out there. But, if Ozzy plays the rest of the way at left tackle and it's just solid and arrows pointing up, not saying that takes tackle completely out of the mix of consideration this offseason, but it gives you more flexibility, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think, look, let's just assume for a second that Ozzy Trapilo shows enough to where the Bears go into 2026 and say, hey, we're going to, plug you in or write you in as our left tackle. That's kind of our plan for 2026. At that point, right, edge is 100% the number one priority, without a doubt. Safety, depending on who you choose to re-sign out of Kevin Byard, obviously Jaquan Brisker, your backups are not under contract at the moment as well. I think really after edge, you're not really necessarily drafting for starter per se. You could maybe make the argument that do you want to potentially target a defensive tackle to pair along with Javon Dexter, but you've invested in Grady, Jarrett, so it's kind of a wish-wash there. To me, at that point, you're looking at, again, a running back that could complement DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai, maybe an interior offensive lineman to kind of look towards the future.
Yeah, quality depth.
Linebacker or something.
Quality depth pieces, right?
Yep.
You start thinking okay, would you take a guard in the third or fourth round? Joe Thuney will be 33 next year. Jonah Jackson's in his late 20s. Someone like that to be a swing guard who can grow. Swing tackle is still a position, although Theo could just be that guy.
Could be.
Probably. So, these are all hypotheticals right now, but if they feel good about Ozzy, they enter the offseason in a really advantageous standpoint from a roster construction position. So, corner could be a spot just with Jalen missing a lot of this year with injury. Kyler's had some soft tissue injuries. That could be a sneaky day 2 position to add a piece there. But, Yeah, we'll see on all that. Nashawn Wright's status probably plays a role there. Like, do you keep him? Does he walk? He could sneakily be a guy. I'm not saying I want to let him go, but like comp pick formula, like that guy could get some money, and you might just get like a 4th-round pick for him. So we'll see. We're living in the here and now, baby. Aaron, what's the origin of Smokin' Jays? I love it. We kind of just came up with it. I don't know. It's probably 4 or 5 years old. We used to do them all the time. Then we didn't. Now we kind of brought them back. And it's kind of just our rumor meter. Like, the more Smokin' Jays, the more likely it is. So, yeah, I mean, the Smokin' Jay Cutler thing was a big Bears meme for a while on social media. So we kind of just leaned into that and have kept it ever since. So it's a good time. It's a good time. Jay, speaking of Jay, extremely hot take, but if the Bears get the 1 seed, they have a good chance to make the Super Bowl with home field advantage in these colder months. I mean, look, if you're the 1 seed, you clearly have a chance, right? I mean, playoff football is a different deal, but you get the 1 seed, playoffs run through your stadium, while right now in this moment, I don't consider the Bears a Super Bowl contender, if they get the 1 seed, they are a Super Bowl contender. Now, that doesn't mean I would predict them to get to the Super Bowl or win it or anything, but if they're 13-4 in the 1 seed, I mean, it'd be silly to not say they at least have a shot. I mean, as good as the Rams are and the Seahawks are, you bring them to 20-degree Soldier Field, that's got to be a challenge for any team. So,
about it.
Yeah, I mean, you get home field advantage. Look, you beat Philly this weekend, you can start dreaming 1 seed. It's still going to be a task given your remaining schedule, but maybe 9-3 in the 2 seed at that point. It's clearly on the board. It's at least possible if you win this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the Rams schedule, because obviously they're the number 1 seed at the moment. This upcoming week, they've got the Panthers. Open up as a 10-point favorite against Carolina. Obviously, they'll be on a short week playing the San Francisco 49ers tonight.
That game tonight's interesting.
Very.
Carolina, you want to show this isn't just fake. Show me something tonight. 100%. Opportunities there. The Bucs are slipping. You win tonight, you're in first place in that division. So
we'll see. But then they've got Cardinals. Then they host the Lions. They're at the Seahawks, at the Falcons, host the Cardinals. So outside of Lions and Seahawks,
it's kind of an easy schedule. I think they're getting the 1 seed.
I can see it too. I can see it.
Need your boys to beat them. Need the Seahawks to get the split there. I mean, you think about the Rams. They probably should be undefeated. They completely choked that Eagles game.
Yep, they did.
And they had no business losing that Thursday night game to the 49ers.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a joke that they lost that game.
NFC West, just kind of weird, fluky game where Mac Jones felt like he couldn't miss that game.
He couldn't miss.
Kendrick Bourne
But even
that
didn't Kyron Williams have multiple fumbles? Mm-hmm. I mean, it was crazy how they lost that game.
Well, yeah, so I think Blake Corum also fumbled that game. So I think, they just had multiple fumbles.
I mean, the 49ers were decimated. Again, they should not have won that game. But, yeah, I think the Rams, when they're playing at B-plus level or better, they're going to be tough to beat. They just have everything. Awesome coaching staff, red-hot quarterback, good offensive line. They can run the ball. I mean, Devontae Adams, him and Nakua, good luck finding a better duo. Their defensive front is dominant. I don't know much about their linebackers, but
they just extended Landman or whatever.
Yeah, they just extended that guy. And their corners, who are supposed to be their weakness, Forbes and Durant, have been good.
Yeah.
Cam Curl's been good.
When they get Lake back, who just suffered an injury, he's out for the next few weeks or whatever. They're, to me, and again, I don't love saying it, they're the most complete team in the NFC at this current moment. They are. Yep. So we'll see.
I think in the NFL.
I think touche. I think the Bears, though, let's see. They're also getting healthier. We'll see what their defense looks like whenever they get obviously Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon back. Their linebackers eventually.
I'd love to see what Dennis Allen could do with this defense, even just mostly healthy.
Yeah. What up, the Polish? All right, we got Drew. Better to draft 2+ edges or trade for Max and Miles?
I mean, the more if you want the guaranteed that you would trade for one of those guys, but yeah, I mean, it really just comes down to how strongly you believe in your current roster. If you think you're knocking on the door, then make the trade. If you still want to keep building and build with youth and in the draft and want to create, just a, kind of the Lions style, like draft and develop and, really hit on key picks, then draft 2 guys and, trust that you're going to hit big on one and at least have the other one be a contributor. So we'll see. I think we'll know when this season ends how close they feel they are. Like if this team, let's say the Bears win 11, 12 games, win a playoff game and lose a tight game in the divisional round, then maybe they'll view themselves as a team knocking on the door. Maybe they would pursue a big trade.
I was literally about to ask, like, what's the lowest, I guess, the Bears, if their season, let's say the Bears make the playoffs, but they lose the wild card round to whomever. Are you making this trade?
Who do they lose to?
Exactly.
How close is it? I mean, there's so many factors. Also, a big factor in this is how do they view this draft? If they love the edge group in this draft, then just draft one.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's kind of like, well, we like Ruben Bain, but we really have no chance of getting him.
And he's the only one, like, that you would be interested in?
Oh, it's so early. I don't know. I mean,
right.
the draft evolution, like, there's probably 10 players completely off my radar that'll go in the top 40 picks, right? Like, that's just draft season. I love both Texas Tech guys, but, like, the Bears may not love them because of their size length combo. They're smaller speed rushers. That's not the Dennis Allen mantra. So
I'll just say this, and I brought it up during the offseason. I brought it up first year when I was producing for Bears. Now, Caleb Williams in this rookie contract, like, if you believe in him, which Caleb's, I think we all can agree, is taking steps forward this year, you have to take advantage of him on this rookie contract because at some point, if you plan to have him long term, he's going to get paid, and therefore you won't have as much money to trade for a guy such as a Myles Garrett, a Max Crosby. So,
well, and I think the way the Bears operated this past offseason was with that in mind. They did a lot of 2- and 3-year deals.
Right.
So when those contracts run out, they can pick and choose who they want to keep, but they'll have the flexibility to pay Caleb if it gets to the point where they're going to pay Caleb. We're still, at minimum a year and change away because the earliest they can extend him is after next year. But, yeah, when we get there, that'll be its talking point. Austin, Bears win on a 59-yarder, not kidding. I mean, if he makes a 59-yarder at Lincoln Financial when it's cold, that would surprise me. Listen, Cairo steady, 59-yarder outside. I don't know if that's in the bag. In a dome, maybe.
What if the wind's pushing from his back?
Sure, if the wind's at his back, that's possible. We'll see. I just saw Bears win here. Who cares about how they did it?
Sure.
Okay, well, what do we have here?
I will make is what we're going to go with.
Okay.
He says, after Detroit blew the Bears out, they told the team, we still believe in you. How much do you think that has to do with how they've played since?
I will say, for Ben Johnson, I thought that was – you got to pick and choose when you're a head coach about not only the locker room messaging but the public messaging. I thought Ben was really smart in that situation. Like, hey, we're not wavering. Got a lot of belief in the players there. And us as fans might have been like, oh, it's just classic coach speak. But it felt like it calmed everyone down. And I remember going into that Dallas game, I was like, if they can just win this game, they've got a very winnable stretch here. So they win that game. They beat the Raiders. They beat the Commanders. All of a sudden, you're 3-2. It's like, okay, like now the season's on now. And since then, they've obviously the belief has grown exponentially. So, yeah, I think that's a good call out by you. That's a good call out by you.
I will say this, too. Both teams are not the same versions of themselves as they were in Week 2.
No.
Not even close.
I think I like the Bears' chances of beating Detroit in Week 18. At home, outdoors. I mean, Dan Campbell's taking over play calling. They barely beat the Giants yesterday. I mean, I think that's a coin flip game. I think the Bears could win that game.
100%. And, again, Ben Johnson, now that he's, gaining steam, the offense is starting to look better. You're starting to see more Bears skill guys get involved, not just Rome Odunze like it was at the beginning of the year.
Yep.
Do not roll the Bears out, potentially winning that game, to your point.
Twinquist, appreciate the 5K if the Bears play the Steelers in the Super Bowl, 3K if the Bears win versus anyone else. Well, I don't think they're playing the Steelers in the Super Bowl, but best of luck to you. I don't think the Steelers are making the playoffs.
It kind of seems like they've just, especially with the Rodgers injury, like he could miss this week as well. Like
their only chance, I think, is the division. Now, they do have the Ravens twice still, and even though Baltimore's won 5 in a row, they haven't exactly looked awesome.
Lamar's also not great historically against the Steelers.
They usually split, so they're going to have to at least split that. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't love where the Steelers are at right now. I don't love where the Steelers are at. Tony, I know it's over. Appreciate the 5. Doesn't matter, but I cannot believe the Bears let 9 have his only good quarter and steal a win. Pisses me off. Well, 9 also beat the Lions a few weeks ago. So, guys, you can't get caught up on it. Coming into the year, we would have taken a split against the Vikings. That's what happened. Look, you played them at a not great time. The offense was not in sync with the pre-snap penalties. Caleb wasn't that comfortable yet in Ben's system. Yeah, it sucks. You should have won that game. You're also 6-1 in one-score games. I'm not gonna. To me, that's kind of greedy. It's like we're 8-3, man. I hear you, but I don't think that's worth dwelling on. I just don't. I mean, the Packers lost to the Browns. They're 7-3-1. They're in good position, right?
It's also a divisional game. Stuff like that happens all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man. I wouldn't get too caught up. Lefty, Cairo game winner with Caleb driving down the field, 2 minutes left. LFG, FGB, FDL, F the Minnesota Vikings. That'd be nice, man. Listen, if the Bears have a chance late, they're gonna have a real shot. They've proven that this year. Roast Beef says, great point, Colin. I don't know when this came in or what
I just
point it
have
was.
So many of them.
So many great.
No,
so many.
I think it was the. I don't know. I think it was maybe the Caleb hitting on deep plays, but either way, appreciate the super chat, Roast Beef. Omar says, happy Victory Monday, guys. What's your thoughts on a contract number that Wright has earned himself after his play this year? Good question.
I don't know. I mean,
multi-year deal for sure.
Yeah, is it like 2 for 15? 2
for 15?
I mean, if you isolated just this year, he's probably a $10+ million corner, but how are teams going to view him? Is this a 1 year, is this I don't think it's a fluke, but I don't know if you just plug him into any system if he's playing like this. So I think he's going to be pretty selective on where he goes. He's going to want to go to a press man scheme. I don't think if you put him into a zone heavy scheme, he's playing like this.
Maybe not.
That's why I wonder, if you're the Bear, this is going to be really interesting because Tyreek's played pretty well this year. Jalen's under contract, making a lot of money. I think they're going to evaluate these guys hard, how they play down the stretch, if they can stay. Because the thing with Nahshon Wright, he's been durable too. He's the only guy out there every week. Jalen's missed all year. Tyreek has mostly been out there, but he's missed a game. He missed most of yesterday. He might miss another game here. It's going to be interesting. If you could get a 2-year, $14 million deal with Nahshon Wright today, would you do that? Would you just
100%? Yeah.
You would just do that and figure out the rest later?
How much? What?
10 guaranteed?
Or
10 guaranteed?
Yeah, I would do that. No questions asked. No questions asked. Because again, chances are the way they would structure it, you'd be able to get out of the deal after 1 year.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to break the bank in terms of how your roster construction is going to look if you potentially sign a guy that at one point was tied for the league lead in interceptions at $7 million per year.
Chat's also making a good point. Does he mean Darnell Wright? If you're talking Darnell,
that's true.
I definitely think he's earned an extension. It's going to be north of $20 million per year. That's what good offensive tackles make. I don't know. Is it 4? Is it 4 for?
Omar, let us know in the chat if you do mean Darnell Wright. I think he's one of the highest paid. He's definitely a top 10.
Let me look at Penei Sewell's contract. He got 4 for 112. That's 26. 26. No, that's like 28 a year. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's Penei Sewell, but the cap will have gone up, $20 million since. It's probably like 4 for 100. It's
at least
it's going to be a lot of money, man.
At least.
That's why you really are hoping Ozzy is a hit because you don't want to have to try and find some veteran you have to pay. You can't pay all 5 of your offensive linemen.
100%. He says Nahshon Wright, not Darnell Wright, according to him.
Yeah, I'd be, I don't know, $6 to $8 million per year would be my guess. But if he hits the open market, some team might overpay.
If he keeps balling like
If he
this,
has 2 more picks, 7 picks.
dude, like I'm not going to lie.
It only takes one team. If he hits free agency, he could get
There's a world where
3 for 36.
That's what I'm saying. There's a world where he gets $10 million plus per year.
And if you're Nashawn Wright, this is the battle you got to face. If the Bears approach you before the end of the season or early before free agency with a team-friendly offer, like, this might be your one chance to cash in. Like, he might say, listen, I want to stay here, but I got to see what the market says. Like, I mean, if I can get $10+ million per year on a 3-year deal, like, listen, these athletes, especially these journeyman types, like, you may get one shot to sign a big contract. So I could not blame him if he wanted to hit free agency.
If it came out tomorrow, Bears extend to Sean Wright 2 for 15. Let's just call it $9 million guaranteed.
I think I'd have to be on board. And then you're saying, okay, well, what happens to Tyreek Stevenson? Well, we'll figure that out in the offseason. Figure that out in the offseason. We'll see. I'm guessing they play this year out and they take a hard look at what they want to do at corner. Are Nashawn and Kevin Byard Pro Bowl? They might be. I mean, I think Byard is for sure. If Nashawn Wright gets another couple picks, I mean, if he has 7 interceptions, he's probably a Pro Bowler. I mean, like, he's not a perfect player. He gets beat some. He is a little grabby, but, like, it's hard to kind of dismiss. He's making plays every week.
And he is.
Every week. Mason, beat the Eagles, split with the Packers, or sweep Green Bay. Oh, you'd rather take the Green Bay sweep because that helps separate in the division. Winning the division is most important because then you're guaranteed really a top 3 seed with the shape of the NFC South. The NFC South champ's going to be the 4 seed at this stage.
Right.
So if you win the division, you're a top 3 seed, which means you're guaranteed 1 home playoff game, potentially 2, depending on what happens in the first round. So you would rather sweep the Packers than beat the Eagles. Now, if you lose to the Eagles, it probably kills any chance at the 1 seed, but that's going to be tough anyway. So, like, the 2 games against Green Bay and the game against Detroit are by far the most important games left on the schedule. Not even close. If you can win 2 out of those 3, if I could sign up right now, Colin, for 2-1 in those, done. I would take that today because then you're 11 or you're 10-4. You finish 3-3 in the division. You're in a good spot. If you can win 2 out of 3 in the remaining division games, you got a great shot at winning the division. So
also FGB.
And we just want to sweep the Packers, baby. Let's go. Great questions today. We'll keep it rolling here. Tony, bring back the bear mask or dye your hair orange. Man, the bear mask, that is old school. You've been here a while, Tony. Cullen doesn't even know about the bear mask.
I was about to say, I saw this come in.
We pulled that out on Halloween one year, and it just kind of became like a fun game day theme. Like, we did like a super chat thing. I'll wear the mask for a drive. But I think someone won that. We'd have to get a new one. I'd be down to dye the hair for a playoff run. That could be fun. It'd be fun. All right, Mr. Big Fella, hot take, Week 18, not only for the North, but for also the playoffs. Can you imagine the stress if it's win the division, lose, and you're out entirely? I mean, that is...
There's a world where that potentially exists.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. I hope it's not that all or nothing. That would suck. Do you just do silent agreement? Let's tie and both get in. Remember that Raiders Chargers a couple years, like 4 years ago? Marcus, appreciate the 5. Considering their schedule, HG, if we sweep the Packers, could they miss the playoffs? Yeah, I mean, look, if you lose one game right now in the NFC, you can go from like a top 3 seed to out. Like, it's that tight right now. So, yeah, if you sweep Green Bay, they could be in some trouble for sure.
100%.
For sure. Johnny, great point, Cullen.
Thanks, dude.
So many great points.
Thanks, John.
Big Sean, saw your vid on not taking Nashawn Wright off the field with Jalen and Kyler back. Linebackers hurt. Thoughts on Gardner Johnson as a hybrid linebacker? He's kind of that already. But that doesn't really change anything with the Nashawn Wright discussion. The Nashawn Wright debate is really, okay, is it him or Tyreek Stevenson? Right? I mean, that's because they're both outside corners. I mean, you could play a guy like Tyreek in the slot, maybe. But, like, okay, what does that mean for CJ and Kyler? You're not playing CJ Gardner-Johnson at outside corner. Maybe Kyler Gordon, but
I'll also say this, to play linebacker in a sub kind of, maybe dime package where it's an obvious passing down, that's one thing. CJ Gardner-Johnson is like a consistent, linebacker. He just doesn't have the body.
He's not big and rugged enough to handle that for
right.
He could probably do that for like 20% of snaps in a game.
Yeah.
But to do that for a heavy part-time or full-time role, that's a big ask.
100%.
Poor connection. What's up, boys? I believe our practice habits now reflect a championship team. Yeah, remember Ben Johnson? Like I said, you got to pick your spots. He made that little comment early in the year of, I don't think our practice habits represent a championship team. You wonder if that'd be a good question for someone on the beat to ask Ben. Say, hey, a couple months ago you said practice habits don't represent habits of a championship team. Do you feel differently now? That would be a good question. Logan, biggest prediction for the rest of the year. Man, that's a good one. Biggest prediction. I don't know. I'd love to answer this after the Philly game, because I want to be like Bears win the North, but it can just change so quickly. I don't know. Biggest prediction for the rest of the year.
Bears sweep the Packers.
Yeah, you've been on that. You were on that last year. You were right too. If that fingertip didn't happen.
BS. Thanks, Eberflus.
I'll circle back, Logan. I'll circle back. All right, give me a ballpark here.
We've got including Michael, we've got about 6 or 7.
Okay,
we'll
sprint through these. 6, 7. Pat's players helped pick up Caleb off the ground last year. Now we got CJ grabbing jerseys and the rest of the team coming to back up Caleb. Love it. Yeah, I think Caleb has earned some stripes in that locker room. Listen, one thing that has never been, you can never question his toughness. I mean, he got destroyed last year, kept getting up. This year he's done a better job of not taking sacks, so on and so forth. But his toughness has been on display. I think he's grown as a leader this year. I think he's answered the bell and the challenge from Ben Johnson. And, yeah, I mean, that's something C.J. Gardner-Johnson provides, man. Like, he's, he outwears his welcome at times, but he's a guy you want to go to war with when you have him. So I said it yesterday, man. I really think that was a moment in that game where that game kind of turned. The Bears were kind of reeling there. The Steelers had scored. Caleb got strip sacked the drive before. All of a sudden, it's 14-7. It's like, oh man, it feels like this game is off the rails. It's a third down. Caleb picks it up with a scramble. Jalen Ramsey cracks him. I mean, legal hit, but kind of one of those unnecessary ones. And Bears players didn't like it, and kind of felt like a rally the troops moment. So yeah, that was good to see. You got to have your quarterbacks back. I mean,
100%.
that's a non-negotiable. So yeah, I definitely loved to see that yesterday.
100%.
Bear down in Louisville, hearing game on 12/7 got flat. Yeah, it did. So you got Eagles on Black Friday this week, and then 3:25 next Sunday against the Packers. And talk about a big 2-game stretch here. It's ramping up, baby. Kyle Ace, appreciate the 15. G'day, mates. Flew Australia to Chicago, made it to the game against the Steelers. Caleb looked really shaky at the beginning. Stoked on Monungai. What will be the key factor to beating Philly? Yeah, I thought the last couple weeks, honestly, Caleb started slow. Then he's picked it up. I thought the third quarter was one of his best quarters of the season, really for the whole team. I thought they kicked the Steelers' ass in the third. Had Rome not dropped that ball on the sideline in the third, I mean, they were very close to putting that game completely out of reach. Key factor to beating Philly? Well, we actually have a segment coming up, why I think the Bears can beat the Eagles, so stick around for that. But I think generating explosives, which is always important, because the Eagles are a very conservative offense. So if you can hit some big plays and limit them from doing so, I think you're going to be in a good position here. Ron Winarski, after the game, the announcer said they are not the same old Bears. Do you agree? Definitely not. Now, that doesn't mean they're a Super Bowl team, but this is not the Matt Eberflus Bears, the late Matt Nagy Bears. Like, this is a team that has a lot of belief and a lot of trust and a lot of confidence that they can get the job done. May not always be, perfect or beautiful, but this is definitely not the same old Bears right now. 6-1 in one-score games, that's not the same old Bears. Cornelius, appreciate it. Cullen, is JSN the best wide receiver in football?
Yes.
This year, no question.
I mean, we'll talk about, kind of in the future. I think he's entered the conversation in terms of future years where, like, he is, whoever you argue, whether it's JSN, whether it's Jamar Chase, whether it's Justin Jefferson, whomever you have, he is in the conversation.
Yeah, agreed.
So
I think this year individually he's been the best, and I do, assuming he finishes strong, I do think he's jumped into that tier of, like, there's 3 or 4 guys, you could debate any of them. He's in the debate.
He broke the Seahawks receiving yards in the season record, and we still got 6 games left.
And it's not like they've had bombs. Like, I mean, they've had good receivers over the years.
Yeah. Shout out to DK, ironically, for holding the old record. But, yeah, I mean, he's currently on pace to potentially pass Calvin and be the first 2K receiver in NFL history.
What's impressive, too, is unlike Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, he doesn't have an elite number 2.
No. The next closest receiver is Cooper Kupp.
Jamar Chase has T. Higgins, and Justin Jefferson has Jordan Addison.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp is a fine role player. He is not what he was. So, what Chase is doing, what Jason's doing this year, especially first year with a new quarterback, too, it's really impressive.
New coordinator. I mean, just last couple stats I'll give you. He has double the amount, or over double the amount of catches from the next closest receiver on the Seahawks, and around roughly 900 yards more.
You're dominant, too, when, like, the opposing team is like, this is the one guy we have to slow down, and no one can do it. Yeah. It's like, if we slow him down, we're in good position. Nope. John Taylor, at this point, I'm on board to extend Wright and Stevenson. What are their stat comparison this year besides interceptions? I'd have to dive into that more. Their coverage stats are probably in the ballpark with one another. But Wright's ball production has been notably better. So, listen, I still like Tyreek Stevenson. It's a little up and down, but, I think that's where Nahshon Wright this season has separated a little bit. While it has been a little up and down, it's been a little up and down with more ball production. So, I think that's where he overall has had a better year. Mose, does it feel like the Bears have 3 wide receiver 2s? A little bit. I think Rome is kind of on that fringe. Is he a 1, a 2? I think he's, if you think of it this way, there's 32 wide receiver 1s in the NFL. He's definitely a top 32 receiver. I think he's top 20-ish. But there's still some inconsistencies, too many drops, which is frustrating because he wasn't really a drop guy coming out. So that's got to be cleaned up. DJ Moore is probably like an excellent number 2 at this point who you can be creative with. And Luther Burden is currently a wide receiver 2 caliber guy, more arrow up, who I think could become a 1. So, 3 wide receiver 2s and a really explosive tight end, Colston Loveland, and kind of just a old reliable Cole Kmet. I mean, you may not have that true dominant guy, Cullen, but you got 5 or 6 dudes that are pretty solid contributors.
Yeah, I think Luther and Colston, like, they're trending up in terms of where you rank them in terms of wide receiver 2s, wide receiver 3s, whatever the case may be. Roma Dunze, if he just gets whatever this is in terms of, like, just, especially, it's not just drops, it's like critical drops. Like,
yes.
They go to him on certain situations where obviously they're treating him like a number 1. Hey, we're going to give you a chance to make a play here. And again, like the play against the Steelers where it's just like, he's worried too much about, I don't know if it's the defender, getting too close or whatever the case may be. You just can't have those drops, man.
I mean, that drop yesterday, they had the Steelers on the ropes, Cullen. If they go score on that drive, I think they might blow them out. I really do. And they've kind of had one moment like that in a lot of these games that they end up winning tight where it's like, if they just avoid that one mistake, they might run away with these games. So, like, if they can tighten that up, and it seems like Rome has a moment every game where it's just like, top 10 pick, bro. Like, you're making a lot of plays for us, but, like, I need that one to be made as well. Seems like he's got one of those every week. So, really good player, but he's not quite that dominant number 1.
Okay.
Do we have news?
Yeah, just look at production. That's, wow. Tony, the bear mask, it's hot as fuck in here, LMAFAO. Assuming this is a quote from a previous live stream. Read. Read. Sorry, workplace stuff. That's awesome, Reed. Hashtag Chit Chat Sports.
That is crazy, dude.
Yeah. That's nuts. Yeah, and then he also, so Tony also says, the bear mask made its debut, Bears versus Vikings, in Eberflus's first year against Minnesota. In Minnesota, Bears lost typical Flus fashion on the last play.
The Bear first year. Oh, was that the Amir Smith-Marset fumble? I think it was. Darnell Mooney had one of the greatest catches I've ever seen in that game.
Yeah. Real quickly, just to kind of redirect the conversation, let us know down in the chat as we're going to get to this final super chat here before we get into our segs. Thank you guys so much.
Hour of super chats. Appreciate you guys.
Let us know down in the chat. Do you believe Rome Odunze is capable of being a wide receiver 1 for the Chicago Bears? Yes or no?
I'll answer. The answer is clearly yes. Like, he's clearly capable, and he's had plenty of – I mean, the first month of the year, Colin, he was borderline dominant.
100%.
So, I'm still not worried about him long term or even short term. It's just like that's the difference between being one of these dudes, right? Like, I'm not saying JSN necessarily, but one of these top 10, 12 guys is like, eliminating the little mistakes. That's where the elite guys separate.
100%.
Yeah. I think right now he's a low-end 1, high-end 2 guy.
Yeah.
The next step is like tightening up the drops, being a little more sharper on the details. I love the way he blocks in the run game. I mean, it's frustrating in the moment, but I have no major concerns with Rome Odunze. High character guy, so I'm no one's writing him off here. No one's writing him off.
Okay, follow-up question. More likely to be the Bears' number 1 kind of option in their offense, Rome Odunze or Colston Loveland?
Whew. That's a good question. Rome's probably always going to get more volume, I would think, but I could see it being Colston. Yeah. I do think Colston's a tick more reliable with the hands. I mean, that catch yesterday where he gets popped and he still catches it was crazy concentration. So they're both awesome, man. Studio tour, all motor asks. We could do that at some point.
Yeah, we'll get Caleb versus Drake May in Super Bowl. Who you got?
Got to ride with my guy, man. The storylines for that would be incredible, Colin. 2 second-year quarterbacks, top 3 picks, first-year head coaches, Vrabel, or should I say Frabel, and it's an inside joke, Ben Johnson. 2 kind of major franchises, Bears, Patriots. I mean, could you imagine the ratings in that game? Bears, Patriots, Super Bowl? That would be unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
We will be having a time if that is what we get. That is what we get.
It'll be absolutely electric. All right, I'll flash this last super chat, and then finally, you guys have been awesome. Appreciate all the donations. Shout out to Johnny. Studio tour.
We can do that sometime.
Hey.
Stay tuned.
Round of applause for you guys.
Appreciate it. And we still have a mailbag, so if you have more questions or if those of you who can't donate or just don't want to, hashtag Bears or Super Chat to get those in. Also hit that like button. We got over 800 people watching live. We still got plenty of content to get into, so like the video. Let's get more Bears fans in here. Here's what we got coming up. We got the latest news and injury updates, kind of just letting you guys know some things about who could be coming back this week. Hashtag Bears or Super Chat. Fire those questions in. We will get those questions answered. And why I think Chicago can beat Philadelphia this Friday. It's definitely on the table. We'll talk about it all. This is Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. Let's roll. I'm Harrison Graham. Here's what we got coming up on Chicago Bears Now. Ben Johnson praising his general manager, Ryan Poles. We'll dive into that. Also, seems like every week there's new unsung heroes, and we saw a couple more emerge in the Bears win over the Steelers. And then are Kyler Gordon and Jalen Johnson going to return against the Philadelphia Eagles here on Black Friday? We dive into all these topics and more coming up here on today's show. But Do you believe that the Bears can beat the Eagles here in just, 4 days? Black Friday, it's going to be here quick. If you do, get the Bear Downs going in the comment section below. All right, Ben Johnson at his Monday press conference had this to say just about the tight-knit group in that locker room. He said, I think we've got the right type of guys. Ryan Poles has really done a great job of constructing the roster that way. The veteran leadership is outstanding. Kevin Byard, who they got last year, obviously, Joe Thuney, Grady, Jarrett this year. We probably have 10 to 12 guys that we really lean into on a weekly basis just to get a pulse of the team, and they do a really good job of keeping the main thing in the locker room. It's really those veterans that I just can't sing their praises enough. Listen, Ryan Poles is certainly a polarizing figure among Bears fans, but I think one thing that he has done a much better job of really this offseason, but with Kevin Byard last year, that he kind of ignored his first few years, even when they were rebuilding, is even when you have a team that you don't really expect to go win a Super Bowl or anything, you got to have a couple of quality vets in that room. Guys who have been through the battles, guys who have seen winning, who have been there and done that. First few years, they just didn't have any of those guys. It was a lot of young guys. It was a lot of randoms. The veterans they did have were just like low-level players. Like, remember they brought like Riley Reef in. It's like, okay, that's not what I'm talking about. Grady Jarrett, we can talk about his contract. He is a very valuable guy to have on this team. And by the way, he's been playing better recently. Kevin Byard, he's been a hell of a leader since he got here. Joe Thuney, not the biggest rah-rah guy, but I don't think it's a coincidence that this offensive line has been awesome this year with him being a part of it. Drew Dahlman is a leader in that room as well. Jonah Jackson helps rally the troops. Like, listen, these guys just make a difference. You look at all the great teams, they always have those veterans. They always have those guys who teams can lean on. I mean, like last year, I'm not going to pick on the guy, and he's a vet and he's a rah-rah guy, but like when DeMarcus Walker is breaking you down before every game, like, again, I'm not going to rip on DeMarcus Walker, but it's like, okay, like he's a fine rotation player. Like that's not that inspiring to me, okay? They got dudes. They got dudes that they have brought in that have been there, that have done that. And oh, by the way, if we're going to sing Ryan Poles' praises a little bit, don't look now, but this draft class, remember after a month, 5 weeks, we're like, is anybody in this draft going to contribute? A lot of these guys contributing. Just yesterday, Colston Loveland had a touchdown, had a few nice catches. He's been contributing every week now. Luther Burden's role continues to have an uptick. Ozzy Trapilo, first career start at left tackle, played really well. Ruben Hippolyte made a few plays early before he left with an injury, stepping in for injured linebackers. Luke Newman played 22 snaps, held his own. I thought initially Ryan Bates went to the game. No, Luke Newman. So that's a good sign. That means he's progressing in practice to the point where he's your top backup guard. Kyle Monungai, for weeks now, has been contributing. Yesterday had a key touchdown as well. You're seeing development. And that's where the coaching staff obviously gets a lot of credit, but they picked some guys that can play. That's a really, really good thing to see. Like, it's up to the front office, along with input from the coaching staff, to pick the right players, and then it's up to the coaching staff to develop. And I think you're seeing both those things merge right now, and that's how you build a good team. You got to draft, you got to develop, and then you got to bring in the right veterans when you trade or sign guys in free agency. So, yeah, I think Ryan Poles has to deserve some credit here when it comes to those type of things. And kudos to Ben Johnson for giving him that credit when it comes to the roster construction. All right, we'll keep it rolling here on Chicago Bears Now, but this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. The holiday season is here. It's the best time of year for sports, bowl games, basketball matchups, playoff pushes. It's all happening at once. And while you and I are out here making decisions every day, what gifts to buy, what to eat, which game to watch, there's one place where it feels good to be right: Prize Picks. I don't know about you, but my season-long fantasy football team has been finished for weeks. That's why I like daily fantasy with Prize Picks, is I can play with different players all the time and set new lineups every single day. Just pick 2 or more players and take more or less on their stat projections to qualify for a Prize Picks lineup. New feature alert: Prize Picks now has early payouts. If your lineup gets off to a hot start, you may now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. Little 2-player lineup I like tonight: Christian McCaffrey, more than 7 targets. They've been peppering him in the passing game. And then Tedero McMillan, excuse me, has been Bryce Young's favorite target all year. 66.5 receiving yards. I like the more there. $20 lineup to win $60. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It is good to be right. Okay, more unsung heroes. A big theme of this season is guys stepping up. I mean, this team has been decimated with injuries, especially on the defensive side, and we saw it again. DeMarco Jackson, who we knew was going to play, led the team in tackles with 15. Ogbongbemiga, who we did not know was going to play at linebacker, when Ruben Hippolyte went down, he stepped in there. He had 14 tackles. For these two guys to combine for 29 tackles, I'm not saying they played perfect. Early on, it felt like the linebackers were out of position, but they're around the football. They're playing hard. Tackles, if nothing else, is a stat of motor. Like, you may not, some of these tackles might be 7 yards downfield, but you have that relentless effort, and that is something you can work with. That is something you can work with. You're talking about your LB4 and your what? LB6 in Amano. Amano is a special teamer, right? And he missed like the first 2 months of the year on IR, comes in a game he didn't expect to play, has 14 tackles. I mean, that's a job well done. The Bears are getting contributions from everyone. Everyone is contributing to this team. If you've been on the 53 this year, you've probably helped contribute to a win at some point. I mean, these are just a few specific examples of deeper backups stepping up and helping you win. Josh Blackwell blocks the field goal in Vegas. You win that game. Jake Moody, who's not even here anymore, helps you beat Washington. Kyle Monungai, when DeAndre Swift was out, goes for 200 all-purpose yards against the Bengals. Huge game. And then this week, DeMarco Jackson, Ogbongbemiga combined for 29 tackles. I mean, Ben Johnson kind of sarcastically said it in his locker room post-game speech. He was like, how are we going to win this game? We have no linebackers. Well, that's a testament to coaching and belief. Like, hey, this is why you put the work in training camp during the week, because when it's your time, you got to be ready to go. And these guys are ready to go. Doesn't mean they're perfect players. They're backups for a reason. But, hey, they're stepping up to the plate. They're taking on the challenge. The best example of this from a season-long standpoint is Nashawn Wright. No one even thought he'd make this team when they signed him. He's been unbelievable. So really, really nice to see. I mean, their backups are playing better than starters would before, it feels like, on prior coaching staff. So I just think this staff has done a really good job. And obviously you got to give players credit too. Like they're out there making plays. So really, really awesome stuff. Thank you guys so much. We hit 141,000 subscribers during our Bears Steelers watch party. Next milestone's 142K. If you want to support the movement, if you want free and daily Bears content, hit that subscribe button. Let's keep the train rolling. All right, don't forget, Bears should get some key reinforcements this week to return, as it is a short week, but it felt like if it wasn't a short week that Jalen Johnson and or Kyler Gordon might have played on Sunday, but I think with the quick turnaround, they took the cautious route. I think at minimum, one of these two is playing, Jalen or Kyler. And you would probably lean Jalen because he's had more full participation practices. We'll keep an eye on TJ Edwards. If not this week, I would think that next game against Green Bay, he'll be back and ready to go. He was playing really well before the injury. Excuse me. So that would be potentially really, really big news for the Chicago Bears if they could get 1-2 of these guys back this week and then eventually all these guys back. Keep an eye on Tyreek Stevenson as well. He got banged up in that last game, so we'll monitor that on the injury report this week. Brad Biggs with a piece of news. Tight end Nikola Kalinick, who was a game day elevation yesterday. Guess he got hurt on special teams or something. He's been placed on the practice squad IR list. And the Bears have added 3 players to the practice squad. Dominic Hampton, who was actually a draft pick for the Commanders last year, kind of a safety linebacker hybrid. Kadir Ishmael at tight end, need a practice squad tight end because remember, Stephen Carlson's game day elevations, they don't have any left, so you need a 4th option there in case you need a game day elevation. And then Jeremiah Martin, another defensive lineman in there as well. So they've added a few players to the old practice squad. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of Chicago Bears Now. Appreciate everybody for tuning in to this episode. As always, hit that subscribe button and bear down.
You might want to just tech production. I can read this super chat. Says, non-Bears news, but other than you guys, Mitchell Renz and Raiders Chat Sports are absolutely hilarious. I just watched this crash out video yesterday when they lost the Browns, and I couldn't stop laughing. Let me tell you this, guys. Y'all have no idea. Y'all have no idea. But appreciate the super chat as always. Appreciate that. We are about to get into a mailbag here in the next 5-10 minutes or so. Use hashtag Bears or super chat if you'd like to
Mitch
get in.
has been on a bit of a heater with his crash outs. I mean, I've never seen it like this. He's in shambles, but
Shout out to the Raiders.
production is
It's all-time stuff.
this is incredible.
Yep. But yeah, use hashtag Bears or super chat. It could be any question. It could be thoughts about this upcoming game against the Eagles. It could be potential offseason questions for the Bears. Whatever the case may be, use hashtag Bears or super chat to get involved. Let's see. Seeing some questions here. If we get a couple more, that'd be great.
This
Yep. Oh, I mean, it's all-time stuff.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Hashtag Bears Super Chat. We'll get your questions answered on this fine program.
Lacora. Always the troll.
Good old Lacora. What would we do without you? What would we do without you?
That's a good question, Nestle. Shout out to you. Okay. That's a good super chat we can include on the mailbag. Mose. That's a good a good hashtag question, excuse me. That's good ones.
We got you. Hashtag Bears Super Chat. Here
Yep.
we go.
And also, if you think of a question during the mailbag, feel free to send those in as well.
Yeah, fire away. Maybe you see another question like, oh, I got a follow-up. All right, here we go. We're going to get into a mailbag episode. Christian says, y'all got any sick holiday plans? Well, with the Bears on Black Friday, I'm sticking around, but
Same.
we'll see some my wife's family here, then see my family around Christmas time. So, yeah, my holiday plans are moving. Just bought a house a few weeks ago, so that's going to be that'll be hectic, but we'll get through it. All right, let's. That was kind of Jones-esque. All right. Let's get into this mailbag. We kick off this mailbag episode. It is Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. Tush Push Merchant. God, that trick play is still pissing me off. If Chicago wins the NFC North, should Ben Johnson win Coach of the Year? I've seen this talking point be discussed on Bears Twitter, etc. I'm a little surprised how long Johnson's odds are right now. I mean, Mike Vrabel is a healthy favorite at minus 250, which I don't have a problem with him being the favorite, but by that much, that seems a little rich. Shane Steichen slipped a bit, but he's obviously done a great job with the Colts. And then Ben Johnson and Mike McDonald, both plus 1,200 with Sean McVay as well. I'll say this. The NFC North is a damn good division. If the Bears win the division, that's a pretty strong argument. I mean, I'm not saying he should automatically win it, but I wouldn't argue against it. I mean, if this team wins 12 games and wins the division, you're telling me that's not one of the best coaching jobs of the year, especially with the injuries the Bears have had. I would say it's one of the best coaching jobs of the year. So we'll see. He's going to be in the mix, especially if the Bears make the postseason. I'm just happy he's our football coach. What say you? Should Ben Johnson win Coach of the Year? Type Y for yes, or you can type in for no. At minimum, he should be in the discussion, especially if they, finish with at least 11 wins or so. All right, Johnny VP, you coming to Chicago soon. Been watching you guys for a while. Would be cool to meet y'all. Couldn't make the last one. Would like to. We wanted to come in the summer, but it didn't work out. Some conflicting things came up. We'll see if we can get there after the new year, after the season sometime. Maybe next summer as well. When you have a 2-year-old, things get complicated. But we're going to try to make it happen. Maybe me and my guy Cullen can come up, go check a game at Wrigley or something. That'd be fun. We'll see. DC Viper, would you trade a first at this point for Crosby or Garrett in the offseason? I mean, at this point, well, first of all, it's going to cost more than a first. I mean, especially Myles Garrett. He's going to go minimum 2 ones plus more, maybe 3 ones. Yeah, I mean, we've kind of talked about this, right? Depending on how the season finishes, if Ozzy Trapilo is your answer at left tackle, which it's one game but looked good, could Max Crosby or a Myles Garrett enter the radar. We know the Bears sniffed around at the trade deadline. So, yeah, like if this team wins 11 games, wins a playoff game, and is close in the divisional round and feels like they're a big-time pass rusher away, I would expect the Bears to sniff around and be pretty aggressive. Subscribe to the channel. We got coverage all year long on your Chicago Bears, news, rumors, injury updates, game previews, obviously the offseason coverage, draft, free agency, so on and so forth. So we're here every single day, so don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. All right, Timothy Anderson, do you think we keep Swift next year? I think an RB on day 2 of the draft might be in play. Yeah, it's definitely possible. I don't know. I mean, I think Swift, for the most part, has been solid this year. I wouldn't be opposed to keeping him on the 3rd year of his deal. I don't think I would extend him. I think if he's back, you just keep him on his current deal and play next year out. But yeah, I mean, I think long term, Kyle Monangai is going to be a part of this rotation. I'm guessing Swift long term is probably not here, but I think he's done enough good things this year where I'd be comfortable with rolling him out there. Next year, him and Monangai, your top 2. Maybe you take a guy in the middle rounds of the draft that can enter that rotation at some point. So we'll see. It'll be interesting. I think the running back position is still one to watch this offseason, but they've gotten some good production out of that duo. Okay, we got Anthony. How much do you think TJ Edwards' performance will drop once he returns? Well, hopefully not at all. I mean, if he's healthy, I don't see why he can't get back to how he was playing. He was playing really well. Now, when he's back, he'll probably have a couple games without Tremaine Edmonds next to him, who has at least 3 more games on IR. So hopefully he's at or close to where he was playing, and that would be a big lift for this Bears football team. Caleb Williams jerseys are currently on sale, up to $40 off if you check at the right time. Chatsports.com/Caleb sale. Go check them out today. Chatsports.com/Caleb sale. All right, we got Christian Edits. What are your thoughts on a C.J. Gardner-Johnson contract extension? Yeah, I mean, with these DBs right now, him, Nashawn Wright, Tyreek Stevenson's eligible after this year. Like, what do you do with him? I think they're probably just going to play this year out. Like, if they're going to extend anybody during the season, I would guess it's a 1-year extension for Kevin Byard. That would be my guess. And they're going to let these other guys play it out and then make some decisions in the offseason. But I'm not opposed to him being back next year. He's given this team some juice. I thought the way he got in Jalen Ramsey's face after he knocked Caleb Williams out of bounds was a galvanizing moment in that football game on Sunday. So, yeah, I mean, I if things continue on this trajectory, I'd definitely be open to him returning next year. Mose 12, are there any free agents we could look to add as we get closer to the playoffs? There's really no one out there at this point, right? I mean, you're looking at like deep replacement level players. Like, I couldn't even tell you off the top of my head who the best free agent is. No idea. I saw Shaq Lawson visited the Bucks, or the Bills. So, I mean, there's always those like fringe, decent-ish pass rushers that sign later in the year. I mean, you want to go sign Yannick Ngakoue or something like that. I think most teams have what they have at this point. Brandon Cooks, a guy like that. There might be a couple of random like wave or releases down the stretch. I don't think the Bears really need a receiver though, but you might see a player like that at a different position that gets cut. Maybe the Bears would pounce, but I would say it's pretty unlikely. Predict the score: Bears Eagles. Who wins? What is the final score going to be? I am not dropping my prediction on this episode. Depending on when this episode gets released, though, maybe I already have predicted the score on a different video, but stay tuned for that. All right, where's Nestle? How far away are we from serious contender status? I don't know if they're that far away. Could they get there this year? It's not off the table when you're 8-3, right? Beat the Eagles and let's talk. Beat the Eagles and let's have a conversation. Lacora, the Philadelphia right side of the O-line is below average. Could Montez bring the boom on Black Friday? Yeah, I think that matchup with Fred Johnson at right tackle, Lane Johnson's out. That right guard position's kind of been a struggle all year. Also, Cam Jurgens is not playing well right now at center. He is not playing like he did last year. I think he's banged up. So whether he plays or not, I think you can get some interior pressure with Dexter and Jarrett. I think there's going to be some opportunities to blow up some plays against this Eagles offensive line, which is weird to say because that's typically the strength of their football team. All right, Q Liquor. Okay. Would you rather play Green Bay or Tampa in the playoffs? Right now, Tampa. Baker's beat up. They got injuries all over the place. You know, they're going to get some key guys back, but I think I'd rather play Tampa. That's not because I'm scared of Green Bay. I'm not. I think the Bears actually match up pretty well with the Packers, but Tampa's reeling right now. Now, you know, that could change in 6 weeks, but this moment, I would rather take my chances with Tampa. No question about it. All right, appreciate all the questions here today. Fire in my DMs if you want more. Still got to catch up on DMs from the game on Sunday, so I will be sure to do that. At HGramNFL on Twitter and on Instagram. Give me a follow, fire in the DMs. We'll talk some Bears football. Bear down.
Gage says, it's my birthday tomorrow, and there's no better way to celebrate than having a Bears win. The show is amazing. Keep going.
Appreciate that, Gage. Get the HBDs in the chat for our guy, Gage.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Shout out to you, sir. Happy Thanksgiving, too, Decker. Shout out to you, man. What's going on?
Let's go.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to because this is the last time we'll be live before Thanksgiving, obviously.
Yeah.
So,
let's go.
Shout out to all of you guys. Hope you all have a great Thanksgiving. We got Paleo. This is Philly is a revenge game for C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
Philly is a revenge game for C.J. Oh, that's an interesting angle. They traded him. Oh, he's going to be fired up for this game.
I could see him getting a little
I haven't even
animated.
Thought about that. We're going to do a joint preview with our Eagles host, Chase Sr. He was not happy when they got rid of Gardner-Johnson. We're going to have to talk about that. That's an interesting angle. I didn't even think about that.
C.J. Gardner-Johnson with extra motivation.
He is going to make an impact play in this game. I'm calling it right now. Because I thought yesterday was kind of a quiet game for him compared to his first few games with the Bears. Ain't no way he's going to have 2 quiet games in a row.
Nathan, so there is going to be a watch party on Black Friday, but on Sunday, I'm not sure.
I'm actually off Sunday.
You're off Sunday. Okay.
Yeah, I'll probably do a video from home, but like I said, we're starting to pack up the house and everything, and holiday week with me being up here Friday, I'm going to take off, so won't be working Sunday, at least in the studio, but we'll have some content from the house.
If anyone wants to tune into Raiders this Sunday, your boy will be.
Oh, you're doing Raiders this week?
I'm starting that stream, yeah. Our host is questionable.
Our host is day-to-day. Don't ask the details. Mitchell Renz, what a time to be alive.
Michael says Gino really flipped off Raiders fan.
Yeah.
It's just.
# blame Gino.
I blame Gino, man.
What a mess that's been, dude.
What a mess.
You've been on the right side of that. Your team got rid of Gino.
Yep.
Feels like the Seahawks, they kind of timed that perfectly. Like, they got a lot out of him, moved him at the right time.
Yeah.
Like, thanks for the 3 years. We're gonna pivot here.
No, listen, and it's don't wish ill upon any player, but it just seems like Gino wanted to be with Pete. He's a Pete guy. He loves Pete Carroll. He loves Pete Carroll. Just hasn't worked out for him whatsoever. So
has not worked.
Yeah. Mitch gets suspended. That's not the not what we're talking about, but yeah, he's day to day.
At Mitchell Renz 365. He'll tell you what he wants to tell you. That's all I'll say. All right, we got one more segment here, then we're going to sign off. Can the Bears beat the Eagles? I think they can. We're going to talk about it next here on Chicago Bears Now. I'm Harrison Graham. Can the Chicago Bears beat the Philadelphia Eagles on Black Friday? I'm going to tell you why I think they can here on today's show. I want to ask you guys first, what is your confidence level in the Bears beating the Eagles? Scale of 1 to 10, 1 being we got no shot in this game, 10 being no chance we lose. I think the Bears got a real shot here. I really, really do. I'm going to tell you why coming up next. Can the Bears win on Black Friday in front of the entire world? Remember, this game is going to be on Prime Video, but they're making it free access. So if you have an account, you're able to watch on Prime Video, and over 200 countries are going to have access to this game. So this is going to be very, very big numbers. But tune in for us. We'll, of course, be live. Mute the TV and come watch us. But high-stakes game in the NFC. Currently, as we're filming this, the Eagles are 6.5-point favorites on Black Friday. The over-under 44.5. So is he saying 25-19 Philadelphia? You know, I do think this could be kind of a knuckle fight, kind of a bruising type of game, short week, physicality. So going to be very, very interesting. But I do think the Bears have a real shot here. I'm going to tell you why the Bears can win. Number one, Eagles offense is struggling, man. It's vanilla. It's not creative. They don't generate a ton of explosives. They're not running the football well currently. You know, you look at just some raw numbers. The only one that stands out in a positive light is, yeah, they don't turn the ball over. But bottom half in points per game, barely in the top half in yards per game, bottom 20 or bottom third in passing and rushing yards per game overall there. And now that I'm looking at that, there's a mistake there. I'll have to double check that. But either way, they haven't been great on the ground or in the air. This is a very vanilla and conservative offense. You watch them play, it's a lot of hitch routes. It's a lot of throwing on the perimeter. Jalen Hurts does not attack the middle of the field much. They don't turn the ball over. But one difference I'll say, and we'll kind of get to this later, is the Bears don't turn it over a lot either, and they're much more aggressive and explosive. Like, that's a better combination than just let's play it safe and try to win every game 20-17, which, listen, that formula's worked out well for Philadelphia. They've won a lot of games, but sometimes what happens is what you saw against Dallas. You get up big early, you kind of go on the tank, and it bites you in the ass at the end of the game. So this Eagles offense does not scare me right now. Part of that is Lane Johnson is out. And this offensive line this year for Philadelphia has already not played that well. Their interior is not great, especially at center and right guard. Whether it's Brett Toth or Cam Jurgens, who's been struggling at center, you know, I don't think it really matters that much. I think that these interior pass rushers for the Bears can hopefully get into the backfield some. Tyler Steen has been average at best. They really miss Mekhi Becton, who left for the Chargers this offseason. And Fred Johnson's an okay swing tackle, but he's nowhere near Lane Johnson, obviously. So, yeah, they've got issues. I mean, Mailata's great at left tackle. Dickerson is still really good at left guard, but center to right tackle right now, it's below average. It really, really is. And this is typically the strength of this Eagles football team. And Montez Sweat, who's been playing better as of late, he has 6.5 sacks over his last 6 games, 7.5 sacks overall this year. He's starting to kind of live back up to that contract. He's making some splash plays. I think he could take advantage of a Fred Johnson. He certainly needs to. If the Bears are going to win this game, Montez Sweat's going to have to win some one-on-ones. And against a swing tackle, he better be able to do that fairly consistently. So that is definitely a matchup to watch in this football game. But their offense is already struggling. Now they're down probably their best overall player offensively in Lane Johnson. That's where I think the Bears can really take advantage. All right, more to come in this matchup as I think the Bears have a chance to beat the Eagles here on Black Friday. But first, got to tell you guys about our awesome sponsor. That is Prize Picks. It's the holiday season, the best time of year for sports. Bowl games, basketball matchups, playoff pushes. It's all happening at once. And while you and I are out here making decisions every day, what gifts to buy, what to eat, what game to watch, there's only one place where it feels good to beat right. That is Prize Picks. I got to be honest, I've been right a lot on Prize Picks this year. I'm up still over $450 on the season. My season-long fantasy football team has been in shambles, so I've just been ripping daily fantasy lineups with Prize Picks, and it's fun. You can pick different players. You can have different sports in your lineups. You can have a basketball player, a football player, a hockey player, all in the same lineup. You just pick 2 or more players and take more or less than the different stat projections available, and you are qualified for a Prize Picks lineup. A lineup I like this week, I love it when quarterbacks get the goblin option of half a passing touchdown. Caleb Williams just tossed 3. I think he'll throw for at least 1. So give me the more on that. More on Rome Odunze's 46.5 receiving yards. And I don't like the way Saquon Barkley's running the football, their O-line issues. I took the less on 74.5 right there. 3-player lineup that I feel pretty damn good about. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It is good to be right. Okay, why the Bears can win. Number 3. I think the Bears O-line can hold up. You know, the Eagles' defensive front is pretty good, especially at defensive tackle. Jalen Phillips has given them a spark at the edge as well. But I like how the Bears stack up against Philadelphia. Jalen Carter is probably the one guy who can wreck a game more than anyone else. Joe Thuney, Jonah Jackson, Drew Dahlman, I think they can hold their own against Jalen Carter in the interior. Obviously, we'll see for an encore, how does Ozzy Trapilo play, assuming he's going to start this week, which I don't see why he wouldn't. Darnell Wright, for the most part, has been really good recently as well. And listen, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Moro Ojomo's playing well. They've got dudes, but so do the Bears. I think the Bears' offensive line can hold up. The Bears just played an excellent defensive front in Pittsburgh, and outside of that one strip sack by T.J. Watt, they kind of held them in check. Now, the Steelers did a pretty good job of limiting the run game, but from a pass pro standpoint, I thought Caleb was getting the ball out on time, and I thought the offensive line held up really, really well, especially after Darnell got beat a couple of times. So, I think they can do the same thing against Philadelphia and win that battle in the trenches more often than not. All right, our Week 13 subscriber battle continues. Eagles now is taking a slight lead, 84-72. If you want free and daily Bears content, if you want to beat the Eagles on Friday and in this subscriber competition, let's get those numbers up. Let's get to our next milestone of 142,000 subscribers. All right, Caleb Williams. Listen, we can debate who the better quarterback is. Certainly Jalen Hurts has more skins on the wall. But this year, right now, Caleb is a more explosive quarterback than Jalen Hurts. So what does that mean? That means that this Bears offense as a whole, and Caleb Williams being a big part of that, is generating more big plays. 10-plus yard runs, 20-plus yard throws. Certainly, Jalen's the safer quarterback. He's going to be the more accurate quarterback, especially on the underneath throws. Probably the deep ball accuracy, too. That's a strength of Jalen's, but they don't throw a ton of them anymore. I'm not trying to have some QB debate between Caleb and Jalen Hurts. My point is, though, on the road, if you're going to win this game, you're going to have to generate more explosives than Philly. Philly wants to play it safe. They don't want to turn the ball over. They want to play ball control. They want to be methodical. The Bears want to generate explosives. And what Ben Johnson and this offense has been so good about this year is the ability to generate explosives while playing low turnover football. That's the one thing with Caleb Williams, is he does not turn it over a lot. Now, Pittsburgh wasn't his best game in that regard. Bad strip sack and got away with a throw or two. But for the most part, he is cautiously aggressive and does not put the ball in harm's way while also generating big plays, especially over the middle of the field. That is where Caleb Williams is a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts, attacking the middle of the field. I don't think there's any question about that. Ben Johnson talked about it the other day on Monday, how that's been a big area of growth in his game, especially on those play-action plays where he's got his back turned to the defense off the play-action, turn his head around and fire a dart over the middle. Missed a couple of those on Sunday, but that's been a clear area of growth. I think if this offense can connect on enough of those explosive play opportunities, that can be the difference in this game. And then lastly, some key reinforcements could be coming. Keep an eye on the injury report all week, obviously, and as updates come, we will continue to provide those. But, if you get even one or two of these guys back, that makes a big difference. I know the Eagles' passing game has been hit and miss, but if you're going to war without Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon, like Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, they can cause some problems, no question about it. Now, I like the way Nashawn Wright's playing. We'll see what Tyreek Stevenson's status is. He's banged up as well, but if you can get one or two of these guys back for Black Friday, maybe one of the corners and TJ Edwards, that would be huge. So keep an eye on those injury reports throughout the week. All right, there you have it. Some reasons why I believe the Bears can beat the Eagles on Black Friday. I'm not giving my official score prediction right now because I want to get some more injury clarity, but you guys drop your score predictions in the comments below. Bears, Eagles, who you got? What's the final score going to be? My name is Harrison Graham. Appreciate everybody for making it to the end of the video. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. And as always, bear down.
Let us know those score predictions down below. Christian's got 20-16 Philly. Ugh. Smokey, 35-27 Bears. 35-17 Bears from Ron. 22-17 from John. No winner. He's going to leave it mysterious. It'll be interesting. It really will. Gobble gobble. 20-21 Bears win. Gobble gobble gobble.
Man, if they win Friday,
huge. No doubt about it.
It's just like they've slowly made steps of they're winning games. Okay, they're winning games they're supposed to. Okay, go into Minnesota and win. You beat Pittsburgh while you're beat up on defense. Oh, you win in Philadelphia? Like, that's
100%.
You're kind of on this steady climb. This would be your biggest jump if you pulled this off. No question about it.
No doubt about it. I'll just mention this too, and this is kind of goes without saying, but just to state it, if you're able to keep this game close, the Bears have been in close games all year. Hence, cardiac Bears, good, better, best, cardiac arrest. If the Bears get into a close game with Philadelphia, they are already playing as if, hey, listen, we're the underdog here. No one's really expecting us. It's on the road.
House money game.
House money game. Whereas, the Eagles, they get in those situations if they're even tied or potentially down late in the game. Do you really trust the Eagles' infrastructure potentially to, keep together in terms of yes, they just won a Super Bowl last year, so obviously they're, mentally strong enough to be in games like this. But the way they played this year, I mean, this could be the moment. Don't be shocked if this is the moment where the Eagles season kind of takes a turn for the worse if they're in a situation where it's a close game against
And there's
Chicago.
already noise. There's been noise when they've been winning. They lose at home to the Bears. Whew. And listen, call me crazy. I trust Caleb Williams and this Bears team needing to drive down late to tie or win a game more than I trust a Jalen Hurts offense, just the way they're built right now. Like, they're built to play with a lead. And yesterday, they got a 21-point lead, and they blew it.
They did.
Now, part of me thinks that we're going to see a game effort from Philly because of that. Like, this, to your point, this is kind of a fork-in-the-road moment for this Eagles team this year. It's like, okay, we're either going to rally the troops, flex our muscle, and win this game, or we're going to lose this game, and this thing could unravel a little bit. Like, this feels like back against the wall is a little extreme, because even if they lose, they're still at least two games up on Dallas. But it's like, I don't know. There's always noise in Philadelphia, but you lose this game, it's going to be pretty loud for the Eagles. Whereas, unless the Bears lose by 30, I don't know, if the Bears lose 23-17 or something, I don't think there's some this panic meter thing happening, at least from a majority headline standpoint. So
if the Eagles were to potentially lose on Friday, imagine being on Philadelphia radio waves that following Monday.
Especially if Dallas wins Thursday against the Chiefs.
Yes.
Pressure kind of ramps up on Philly if Dallas wins Thursday, because if they lose, all of a sudden, Dallas is only 2 games back. The Eagles are not out of the woods if those two things happen. So, all right. This was fun. Appreciate it. Great show. We will be back with episodes the next few weeks. Obviously, no live show Thursday. It's a holiday, and with the Bears playing Friday. So, no Thursday live show, but we'll be live Friday for the game, obviously, and then we'll still have episodes every day leading up to kickoff on Friday. So don't you worry about that. And then be ready to rock and roll. Bears-Eagles should be a lot of fun. Shout out to Colin for producing. Thanks to everybody for hanging out. We will see you guys soon. Bear down.